start off, fold it in half. And I'm going to measure, just by using my eyeballs, that the sides are even, perfectly lined up. I'm going to flatten this part out here, make sure it's as precise as I can make it. I'm going to fold one more time in half. And I'm following almost the seams that are already in the bag or on the bag. And now I have a perfectly closed end here, meaning here I could sort of open up my bag again. I could almost do the same here. But this part can't open. There's no opening here. And that's going to be the top of our parachute. I'm going to mark that with a reinforcement. I do not want to cut there. I want to make sure that I never cut there. So I'm just going to put a little part of the reinforcement right there, the dot from it, and it lets me know never cut here. That's the top. Now, I'm going to bring one closed end to another closed end where this part right here is completely open. It's just like flaps of the bag. They're just flaps of the bag. Okay? So I want to make sure that these flaps always stay at the opposite end of where my parachute top is going to be. And I'm going to bring one edge to the other edge. And I'm going to continue to fold that way, just like that. I still know where my top is, but I want to make sure that I always see the short end. So you'll notice here, there's a short end of the bottom flap. I want to make sure that the short end is always on top. See, long end, short end. I want to continue to bring edge to edge, but I have to keep the bottom short end on top. So I folded it over, so now I can see the bottom flap on top. I'm going to fold it over again, so I can bring the bottom flap on top. And I'm always bringing edge to edge. You can see it's perfectly lined up. My short end, here's a short end also, but not as short as this one, and here's my end flap. I could fold one more time. I flip it over, bring edge to edge, find the shortest flap. And my shortest flap is right here. This one's short also, just not as short as this one. Everything's perfectly aligned right here. I still know where my top is. There's my mark for my top. I never, ever, ever cut there. And now I'm going to take the short end, the shortest flap, and I'm going to cut along that part. Again, I'm cutting away from myself, not towards anyone else, and I'm going to cut. And it's a little bit harder here. The scissors will do some of the work. You're going to have to hold tight and just cut. It's almost like a chopping motion. Not as easy as it is with paper. But now I'll find that as I open up my garbage bag, I have a perfectly round parachute.